Treasure Coast Connector, connecting residents and businesses of the Treasure Coast. And here's your host, Ellen Contreras.
Well, welcome to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras. So Treasure Coast Connector is a show that puts a spotlight on business owners. Everyone has a great story of what got them started in business. We want to know about that because working with local businesses is so good for our economy. And today we're going to learn about insurance. It is so important to get educated so that you make the right decision, and working with an experienced insurance agent that's local is even more helpful. So in the studio with me today is Ildiko Insurance, who's also known as Ildiko Insurance because of her vast knowledge of all things insurance. So welcome, Ildiko.
Thank you, Ellen.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking me.
It's a pleasure. So I know that you are known and loved by so many in the Treasure Coast, but we want to put a spotlight on you because there's a lot going on. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But before we start talking about the intricacies of insurance and open enrollment, you have a very interesting background of what got you started. What made you want to open up your own agency?
Well, you know, they say necessity is the mother of invention. Unfortunately, I became a widow at age 48, and my husband, even though he was thick-headed, I talked him into getting life insurance, and praise the Lord, the children were teenagers. It was so helpful, such a wonderful product. And then my friend said, well, you're good with people. Why don't you sell insurance? But as I got into it, I really do not sell. You know, what I do is I find products for people that fit their needs with needs analysis. So being a widow at such a young age, that's how I got into life insurance.
Yeah, because you had to figure things out.
Yes,
and you didn't
it's not an easy subject. It's a foreign language.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you were able to learn it very, very quickly. And then now you're able to help people avoid the shoulda, coulda, woulda, so to speak.
Yes, I'm going into 12 years now.
Yeah.
And I say, well, I translate a foreign language called insurance. Yeah. But I'm also fluent in other types of insurance.
Yes, and we're going to get to that. But what's happening right now is open enrollment is coming up. And so from what I understand, there's open enrollment for Medicare, there's open enrollment for health insurance, but then you were telling me something else I didn't know, and that is special enrollment. So can you just give us the rundown?
Yes, I can clarify that. It's actually called annual enrollment period for Medicare, which starts October 15th and it ends December 7th. And then it's annual enrollment for health insurance, which starts November 1st and ends December 15th.
And that's for anybody that's looking to make a change.
Once a year, people can make a change with their Medicare insurance or their health insurance.
Okay.
Unless they have a special enrollment period, which involves if they moved, they got married, got divorced, then they can change their plans.
Okay. And then, so this special enrollment, what is special enrollment?
Well, special enrollment means if, let's say, someone who lost their job within the past 60 days, they're eligible to sign up for a health insurance plan or a Medicare plan if they haven't been covered. Okay. So that's a special enrollment period. Or if they moved from New York down to Florida because they couldn't take it anymore, they can change their plan.
That's happening a little bit. I just read an article, actually, about...
We've been helping out homeowners, actually, who are coming down from out of state. There's a lot of buyers from out of state coming into Florida.
Yeah, and you know a handful of the real estate people in town. Yeah, you know a lot of them. So very good. So now as people are approaching 65, what advice do you have before they were to call you? What should they, think about? What should they put together? And when should they call you before hitting 65?
Well, actually, they can call me when they're turning 65 soon because I can advise them if they're on Social Security, they'll get their card automatically. However, if they're not, they have to go to Medicare.gov.
Okay.
And my website, IldikoInsurance.com, has a cute little section about Medicare and what is A and what is B.
Okay.
So they can call me before they apply for their card. I'll help them go through the process. Mm-hmm. And then once they get their card, their A and their B, then we can sit down and see what plan covers them. Because technically with Medicare, it's an insurance plan for seniors. So which means Medicare covers 80% and you cover the 20%. But in order from going financially dry, it's a good idea to get a backup plan when you have Medicare.
Yes.
So there's such a thing called Med Advantage, or there's a supplement.
Yes.
And it depends on the needs of the person and their health as to what plan's good for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of options. So
a lot. I do 8 companies.
Yeah, and so that's why it's important, because you are so
I'm a
well
broker.
versed,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
so you'll be able to help people understand the types of coverage and versus their income and how to make the right choice.
And I make it so less stressful. They end up laughing towards the end.
Yeah.
So I can't believe this wasn't this confusing.
So don't wait until you hit 65. Give you a
Exactly.
call. Okay, very
Yeah.
good. Because like a lot of people don't realize the 20%, they think, oh, I can handle that. But all it takes, and I know this from another family member that had their, retirement savings, but they had some catastrophic illnesses.
Yes.
And that 20%, it wiped them out.
Exactly.
So very
So
good.
the correct insurance plan, whether it's health insurance, Medicare, auto, will save your sanity and your finances. Big time.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there's something on your website. This is another thing I wanted to ask you, but I liked what you wrote here. Insurance for your life, your family, and your business.
That's correct.
And so we have, for the people that are watching on live stream and Buzz TV, they get to see the laundry. I call it the laundry list, because it's like when I went on your website, I'm like, ooh, she does this and this and this. So for the people that are listening on Spreaker and on Real Radio 101.7, what types of insurance do you provide?
Well, I started out with life insurance, and then I offered disability, and then accident policies, and then long-term care insurance, and then auto, homeowners, and now I'm also a notary, and I can perform your wedding. Yay.
Oh, you can?
Yes, I can, if you plan renewal vows or a regular wedding.
Yeah, that's lovely. I didn't realize that.
I have everybody covered. So whenever they have questions, they just call me, because I study all of my products, because I do not present them unless I understand them.
Okay. Yes, and there's also continuing education, so you're always
every
getting
year,
updated.
Every year.
Well, that's very good to know. So when it comes to life insurance, any advice that you have for people considering that? Sometimes people put it off. They don't want to think about it.
You know what? Life insurance is like an umbrella. You go out in the rain, you say, I don't need this umbrella. So you go out in the rain and it rains, and then by that time it's too late to get your umbrella.
Yeah.
So life insurance is very good to have ahead of time, whether you're in your 20s or 30s. I quoted a young lady who is 28, $250,000 coverage, $19 a month for 30 years.
Oh, wow.
She said, I have to think about it. So what do you need to think about? You spend more at happy hour.
Exactly.
Really?
So,
because it also have built-in long-term disability. So if somebody becomes seriously ill or injured, they can actually use their life insurance while they're living.
and I hate to say it, but I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer, but you read the paper and more you're hearing about people getting strokes in their
and colon
50s.
cancer in their 30s and 40s.
And,
yes.
and they're vibrant, they're fine one day, and then they're
down.
not the next.
Yep.
They're not dead, but they could
And
use
then they
that
don't
long-term
qualify.
care.
Yeah.
All right.
In your 50s, your check engine light starts coming on. So it's a good idea to get long-term care insurance then, because it's also less expensive than when you're in your 60s or 70s.
Yes, that is very, very true. Oh my goodness. So now the notary, where do you, what is your area of coverage for your notary
I travel.
services?
I've been going a lot until the COVID. I went to assisted living facilities because they couldn't get out to the banks.
Oh, yeah.
So I would do that. And I go in St. Lucie and Martin County. I travel if necessary.
Okay, that's very good to know.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, think that, they could just run to the bank, but nowadays
No.
you can't.
Actually, they were running to my doorstep in the beginning of COVID. I met them outside with masks on my porch.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that worked out well.
Well, very good. That's a nice service that you have to offer. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick 2-minute break. Ildiko Insurance, we have a lot more to discuss when we return, so stay tuned. Well, welcome to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras. We Venture is one of the sponsors. Ildiko and I have been talking about insurance. It is so important to understand what your needs are, especially from someone like Ildiko, aka Ildiko Insurance.
Last name Insurance.
Yes, it's really great because, Heidatcher is not a hard name to say. But when you say, no, for me it's not, but Ildiko Insurance, it just sounds great, and then everybody knows what you do. But, before we continue further, for people that are watching, they can see your contact information. But for the people that have been listening before the break, how does somebody get in touch with you directly?
Well, I do a lot of Medicare. Some of my seniors don't even have an internet or computer. So my phone number is 772-221-0882.
Okay.
And if you want to go to the web, it's ildikoinsurance.com.
Okay, very good. And Ildiko, Ildiko, insurance.com. Yeah. Very good. And your website is fantastic, I have to say. It has a lot of information. It's easy to navigate.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So navigating through life. So when we're young and starting out in our 20s and 30s, we have different insurance needs. And as we progress, those needs change. And it's not a set and forget whatsoever. And I know that you are so good about keeping in touch with your clients. You're really, and you were even telling me you have a spreadsheet that helps you, reminding you. Yeah, it's really great. So, so now people that are in their 20s and 30s, a lot of times they think they're invincible. So what are some of the considerations? What's some advice that you might have for them?
Well, when you're in your 20s and your 30s, your 20s are like, oh, la, la, let's have a good time.
Yeah.
But some people do settle down in their 20s and they buy houses, they have children, they have spouses. You shouldn't just wait until you have children, you have a house. Even if you're single, it'd be a good idea to get life insurance. Number one, because it's very inexpensive in your 20s and 30s. And number two, it has this built-in rider in case you become critically or chronically ill, which means you can use it while you're living and it's not a loan.
Yeah.
And then there's policies that have cash accumulation down the road so that if you get it for a young person, you can accumulate. And when they get out of college, they might have some money to start a business or take a loan. You know how Walt Disney started? Walt Disney, nobody would give him a loan for his place.
Okay.
So he took a loan out against his life insurance policy.
Huh.
And that's how he started out.
Very interesting.
And so did Mary Kay. And the Tupperware lady.
Oh, wow.
So life insurance is very beneficial. It does many, many things. So if you're single, you have that rider built in. And God forbid, if you die, I mean, you can maybe help your parents out.
Yeah.
Leave it to your parents or your family. I mean, my husband at 48, when he died, the children were teenagers.
Yeah.
And they helped him go through college and everything and helped me cushion,
That
the
peace
mortgage
of mind
payments.
that you had. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, there's nothing. It was such a godsend. If everyone knew what life insurance did, they'd be pounding down my doors. I have 2 offices, by the way, one in Port St. Lucie and one in Palm City.
Oh, I did not know about your Port St. Lucie office.
Yeah, I actually share 2 offices, yes.
Excellent.
It's in the TD Bank building next to Casamigos.
Oh, I know. That's a really nice building, actually, by the way. So that's lovely. Okay, so now 40s and 50s. You said before the break, 50s, the check engine light?
Yeah, when you're 50, your check engine light starts coming on. So it's a good idea to get into some kind of protection policy.
Okay.
Insurance. Insurance is protection for your finances and for your sanity. If you have the wrong insurance plan and you have to go to the doctor or the hospital, you're going to go nuts, besides broke.
Yeah.
So I do a needs analysis for people. When, I ask them, how much do you need? What do you want to do with this? Do you have future plans? You're just protecting something now. Most people want to protect their mortgage.
Right.
Especially in their 40s and 50s.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because, you never know about job changes here with COVID.
Yeah. You never know what the world is going to turn to.
Oh, and that's another interesting segue is with like COVID, how a lot of people now are thinking about starting a business. And so you have business interruption insurance. So
Yes,
explain what you do for businesses.
When you're starting a business, it's essential to have general liability.
Okay.
And it depends whether you have a brick and mortar place, or someone called me the other day, they're starting a shaved ice cream food truck.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, or shaved cream, something like that.
Yeah.
But it depends on what type of business as to what your premium will be. And then also they need workman's comp. I have people that do that for them. So it's all about protection. And also when you own a business, let's say you have a partner. So you want to insure each other if something happens. It's called key person insurance.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, I mean, if one partner dies, the wife doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So then that money will go to the other partner so that he or she can carry on the business.
Very nice.
Without having some novice come in and ruin it.
And and they have to navigate and try to step up to the plate. And maybe a lot of the times they don't want to. So
Exactly. I've seen that happen.
So very interesting.
So it's key person insurance and business protection.
Okay. And speaking about business, I want to segue over to We Venture because they work with people who are starting a business. If you're thinking of starting a business or you're scaling yours, you want to know about We Venture if you are in Brevard, Indian River, or St. Lucie County, because there are so many resources to help you. And their website is weventure.fit.edu. Their phone number is 321-674-7007. Check out their website, all the resources, go to their calendar. You'll be so glad that you did. So, yes, it's
That's
really
good. I'll have to tell my business people that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a great organization. And so now going back to like the different changes of life, the people that are now seniors, let's say that they've already, gone through that Medicare process, but they haven't met you. And now they're thinking, I don't know if I'm where I should be. What do you do to help them?
Well, I've had people call me that they did business over the phone. Some stranger called them. Well, technically no one is allowed to call a Medicare recipient without their prior permission because they're out of compliance.
Okay, I did not know that.
I've had some of my clients say they're knocking on my door. That is no. They could lose their license for that. There are so many rules and regulation when dealing with seniors, especially in Florida. We have to take courses on that too.
Yeah, of course.
So when they're turning 65, they can call me and I can advise them how to obtain their card. And then when they get their card, we can sit down and look at all the options which are good for them, because it determines on their lifestyle, their health, and their budget, naturally, which plan is good for them. And I'm a broker. I represent 8 different companies. So there's got to be something you like.
Oh, absolutely.
IldikoInsurance.com.
Yeah, you'll get them all the information that they need. But you know what I also admire about you is you are not only at a lot of networking events when we could do that, but you have done a lot of give back in the community, so much so that I have to refer to some notes. So I want to brag about you because you are on the board of the Women's Power Lunch. That is a really dynamic group of business women in Martin County. Their monthly lunches were just so much fun.
And we had 80 women there. They're powerful ladies. It's been around for 20 years, that group.
That is a wonderful group. And then you're also an ambassador for the Palm City Chamber of Commerce. You were the past president of both the Toastmasters, Treasure Coast Toastmasters Club, and the Surviving Spouses Club in Port St. Lucie. You volunteer at the Barn Theater in Stewart, and with the 4 C's of Martin County, 4 C's being caring children, clothing children. So tell me a little bit about all the work that you do.
Well, let me tell you.
We have the 2-minute mark, but you can get it done in 1 minute.
One of the most important things, Toastmasters. If someone is starting out in a business, or even if they have employees or whatever, Toastmasters is so beneficial because it helps you organize your thoughts and present them so people actually listen. How many times have you had a boss and you don't want to listen because they're scattered all over the place? Yeah,
I was in Toastmasters.
Toastmasters to everybody.
I'm slightly more organized now as a result.
Exactly. Yeah. Organize your thoughts and your presentations and everything. And then Surviving Spouses Group was so important because sometimes they saw a spouse pass away a year after because they just didn't have anybody to relate to. But everyone knows, oh, you felt like that too. Oh, so did I.
Yeah.
And it's a camaraderie kind of. We used to have a luncheon once a month too before the big stuff hit. I don't even want to say that word anymore.
Yeah, no, we're going to ignore that. And so
then the 4 C's is such a wonderful service for Martin County. It helps families who do not afford clothing.
Yes.
There's a huge warehouse that they can pick out clothing for their boys and their girls and even throw in free stuff when they come in.
Yes, and you are sponsoring Gigi Suntum, the executive director. She'll be on the
everyone
show
to know
in a
about
couple
it.
of weeks.
Yes.
So very good. So Ildiko, thank you so much for coming on to the show and giving all of this great information, because you've already given people peace of mind that they know who to call. They're going to call Ildiko Insurance at what phone number?
772-221-0882. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you so much for listening and watching. I hope that everyone has a wonderful and productive week.
Treasure Coast Connector, connecting residents and businesses of the Treasure Coast.